Lost, freezing, running out of time whilst the blizzard blows full force around me. Nobody thinks surviving the Canadian wilderness is easy, although I really didn't know what I was truly in for. But first, let's go back to where this all started. Looks like Timberwolf Mountain, maybe? Actually, I don't recognise that. Oh, Pleasant Valley? Might be Pleasant Valley. Yeah, it is. I recognise this cave. Forest Cave. I think this is up on the hill, on the south side. Seeing the most recent victim of the cold was a stark reminder I needed to find warmth and shelter as quickly as possible, with the pond being my first actual clue as to where I should head. A lone fishing hut, not any good as shelter, but it could at least provide me some food, even if not much. With that, I left the pond and planned my next move. Yeah, maybe I'll head to the radio station, warm up a bit. Then we could head down the hill from there. Because, yeah, then if we head down the hill from there, so it's roughly in the right direction. I made my way through the bitter morning towards the radio tower. I even managed to find some spare lichen hanging from a long dead tree. This would let me heal a wound and stop an animal bite from potentially infecting me. I didn't realize at the time how useful this would be in the coming days. With the radio tower in sight, I headed inside to see what remaining supplies I could gather. An old fuse with no obvious use to me, and a sewing kit to make vital repairs. I even found an ear wrap, something else to take the edge off the bitter cold, but nowhere near enough to stop me from freezing. So, with not much to show for my efforts, I made the short journey towards the farmstead in the middle of the valley. It didn't take too long, and I started ransacking the old house for all it was worth, including the only clean water. Some basic ingredients and a cooking pot were the start of my food source, but it would take much more than that to last long term. The basement led me to some more warm clothing, but besides that, the house was a bust. The barn in the next couple fields over was now my target. Oof. We are in the warmest part of the day, but if we're warming up inside a drafty building like this. Wow, I've never found a. What the fuck? I've never seen three. Okay, wow, that was a. The matches were exactly what I was looking for, a way to get warm, followed by finding some tools that would help with some crafting and maintenance, and things began to look up. I then set my eyes on Thompson's Crossing, a small group of houses, a petrol station, and a community centre that was bound to give me something. Some hearty oats and a new pair of shoes were my reward, along with some other oddities. I lit my first fire and finally got something to eat and drink before settling down to rest after a long day. I left the community centre after organising my gear and made my way through the mines to Coastal Highway, knowing this would give a good amount of coal. I then weighed up my options as my next direction would be crucial.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Thing is, though, we haven't got a hammer yet, so heading to the station point, he's kind of just backing us into a corner. Maybe I head to Mystery Lake. God, I don't know. Do I head to Mystery Lake? Pretty sure I can get a hammer though. I didn't even know that was a spawn for the hammer. Right, okay, well that changes plans. We're at the destination point. Finding the hammer made my next goal clear. Forge some tools. I stopped off to light a fire, collect some torches, and prepare more drinks and food before heading off along the coastline. I even listened to my own advice for once. I think it was Interloper. Right, you do have to be really careful around here about wolves being hidden over these snowbanks. In fact, I'm taking a risk. You hear that? See what I mean? If I had... Oh my god. If I had carried on walking there... Still paranoid about Ben. If I carried on walking there, just gone over the hill line, that wolf would have attacked me. That was a really good example of listening out. I mean, I should have gone all the way around to be really safe, but... This was the most dangerous wolf encounter I had so far, but the day was still young, and the wolves were still hungry. Wow, that's good stuff. Alright, I won't go in this either. I usually make this my my base in playthroughs, which I'm not going to do this time. By the way, you can get water from here sometimes. I'm not going to do this time because I want to change it up. So
Nobody needs this anymore.
okay, right? I said about pry bar would be nice. Pry bar out of nowhere. Anyway, hacksaw. I do love hacksaws. Hacksaw, hacksaw, hacksaw. Hacksaw, 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 hacksaw. I'm going to get out my flare because it's probably still too windy to have a torch out, and if I have this out, then it means I don't need to fumble to try and find it if we run into a wolf. Hopefully, if we run into a wolf here, we can just dart inside a car. Or... That was close. Jesus Christ. If I didn't have the flare out there, why am I manifesting all of these things into existence? This is insane. I'm like, oh yeah, don't have a flare out, then I can get attacked by a wolf. What happens? Instantly a wolf appears. I cannot believe that. Whilst the day was still relatively warm, I thought I would take a chance at hunting a rabbit with a stone I just found. But with a rough start, I decided to set up another fire to give me the extra warmth I needed before giving it another go. Look for this rabbit. There it is.
Damn, I'm freezing.
Been a while since I've thrown the stones at the rabbits. Unfortunately for me, I hadn't accounted for the fact that this rabbit was stronger than the drink I would need to cope with a missed meal. Before too long, night came in with an unwelcome bonus, an aurora. A beautiful but terrifying thing out here in the cold, and the cause for all the awful weather and deadly wildlife. I made my way into the mine that connected to Desolation Point, the lights charged up from the aurora guiding me. On the other side, I stumbled through the dark as a church came into view, the next pit stop on my way to finally get some tools. Right, that's warm enough. We'll just have a look now. With the church looted, I went down the hill, only to hear a nightmarish noise. Yeah, no, there's water right there. Oh. Okay, it is just growling. This is bad. Okay, good. Let's get it off. I also managed to get away with just getting a laceration somehow. A silly mistake from me had led to my first struggle with a wolf. Without the hammer that I used to scare it off with, I would likely have been dead. But the wolf wasn't done with me yet. Makes sense though, this is where it was patrolling. There's another wolf around here, I think. Maybe I should have gone back to the car. I don't know if I would have made it, but... Oh? It stopped following me? Oh no. With the wolf still in hot pursuit, I tried to outsmart it by hiding on the side of a cliff, with limited success.
Can I hide up here from it? Uh, that worked, I think. Okay. Go, go, go whilst it's running. Please run right. Don't run that way. Okay. Please be distracted, please. Come on.
Feel my feet.
Come on.
I barely managed to trick the wolf into fleeing using the sheer rock face, and could finally take a rest after an exhausting day. The following day was warm and clear. It made very easy travel past the Riken, where I'd forged some tools very soon, all the way to the processing plant, a hotspot for loot in this region. I was also betting on finding some more scrap metal to make sure I had enough for forging. This was a mistake. Do need to be careful of walls in this area here. We can go into a building quite easily. Thank you, Sam. We can go into a building quite easily, but we've obviously got to be careful about walls coming out of nowhere. That'll be what gets us in trouble. Ooh, accelerant and matches. What an amazing backpack. That's one of the best backpacks I think I've ever found. It's a safe back here. Okay, it wasn't right at the end, but still. It could be any number up to like the previous number. Okay, cool. We'll take that. We need another jacket. Oh, no, we don't. Unfortunately, as nice as all the food and a couple bits of clothing were, there was amazingly not a single piece of scrap metal in the entire plant. This meant I wouldn't have enough for all my forging. We're going to find so much coal here that... Yeah. I mean, I ended up not really bringing any coal. The only coal I've got is from... And cool. Improvised hatchet. I pieced together what metal I could for a hatchet and 2 arrowheads. This would be the start of me making sure I could hunt for meals and not rely on the food left behind by others. I took a rest in the creaking ship that night, knowing we were one step closer to making it out of this wilderness alive. The next day was mostly uneventful. After a late start, I began the long journey through Coastal Highway, with Mystery Lake being my goal. I pillaged the river of as many cattails as I could, knowing I would spend a lot of energy walking so far, before taking a rest after a full day's hike. The next day I finished my ascent of the hill and began following the tracks, preparing myself for the scariest crossing in the entire game.
Good. Just make sure we don't fall off. The creaking. Oh my god, the creaking. Oh, I hate it.
I continued along the tracks, even finding a couple of deer carcasses I could scrounge some food and hides from. I then finally made it to Mystery Lake, which included a little welcoming committee. So some things it's a bit more forgiving. Gives you some types of loot you'll get more. Oh my god. Did that wolf just ignore me? Go, 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 go. A little hike in the dark got me to the camp office, my home for the next couple days.
I'm setting myself up for a sprain here. I've been on this slope so long. Okay, change of plan. I found this maple. I need to stop willing things into existence.
After a couple days looking around Mystery Lake and acquiring a maple sapling and organising my gear, I headed off towards the nearby forge in Forlorn Muskeg to get some more arrowheads and a knife. Unfortunately, the weather had other plans. I'm not going to go for Trapper's Cabin yet. I think I could come back on the way back, maybe grab it. Um, but I'd rather... That's a blizzard. What do I do? Maybe I head to Trapper's Cabin now, just in this blizzard. Sounds like it might have actually gone. With the blizzard now past, I set off to make the most of the daylight and calmer weather, which I'd need in the unsheltered region that is Forlorn Muskeg. So we managed to pick up our maple sapling so we can start making the bow. We left that back at the cabin, the camp office. And now we're heading across Forlorn Muskeg to try go make some more arrow tips. After making our way about halfway across the muskeg, we stopped to get some warmth as well as cook up some of our remaining meals. By the time we were done, we had to head out over the ice to the destroyed farmstead so we could finally finish our forging. Oh, that wind. Right, yeah, so we're just heading over to the farmstead that's over there because that's going to have a forge
Feel numb.
where we can get some more arrowheads. We've got plenty of scrap metal now. Not seen a wolf come up this far out before.
This pack is getting kind of
Dog,
heavy.
yeah indeed, dog. So having made it to the farmstead, I finished making the rest of the arrowheads I wanted, taking me up to 8, and forged a basic but useful tool in the improvised knife. I then huddled up by the forge to wait out the bitter night before making my next move tomorrow. With a late start, I made my way to Broken Railroad, a region with 2 major locations for loot. The weather was kind to me when it came to warmth and wind, and before too long I arrived at the focal point of the area, the maintenance shed. Not have to worry about having a fire lit. Now, the main issue you've got with the maintenance shed is it's a bit of an arse to get inside because you get all of these walls out the front, which can make it pretty slow going as you approach it. That was close. Oh, that's weird. Do you see what I mean? I'm having to fight my way to this maintenance shed. That wolf scared me. I do need to be careful I don't get out and it's right there. Oh, my torch is about to go. Okay, torch is gone. Using the last ember of my torch to scare away the wolves, I made it inside ready to loot and sleep. I started the next day bright and early, with the hunting lodge found up on the cliff as my goal. A short walk up the hill led me right to it. Hopefully we can just get over to the lodge without interacting with the wolf. Oh, there it is. After running through the narrow gap between a hungry wolf and a territorial moose, I made it inside and was able to collect a lot of food and some other basic resources. I then set up a rope on the cliff and climbed back down, heading back to the maintenance shed to sort out my gear before heading out of Broken Railroad.
essentially, once I've got the bow, I'll head towards the dam. So we can loot the dam. And I guess we'll go towards Timberwolf Mountain. I'm not even sure I'll make it across Fallen Muskeg. It's pretty long, Fallen Muskeg. I don't know it's necessarily one of the bigger regions in the game, but because
Looks like
it's
it's
pretty
dropping
much
over
all
here.
traversable, it's basically like one massive square that you can walk around. It certainly feels very big. Whereas a lot of other regions, like Timberwolf Mountain, is big. You can't go on most of it, so you don't really feel it as much. After making it back to Mystery Lake, I rested for the night, knowing I'd be able to defend myself very soon. Given I can't see wolves up by the train, they might be in there, but oh yeah, we'll see. Okay. Ah, yeah, here you go. I think this patch on the ground is where we can get acorns from. Never mind. Oh, there you go. Acorns. Prepare the acorns to remove their leathery shell prior to cooking. I see. Sliding up a mountain now. Oh no, he smells us. He smells us. Ah, what I've done here is put myself on a cliff that you can't get down from because it's got an overhanging. Why is it? Why is it doing that to me? Right, we may have kind of messed up here because the wolf can't now find us to get scared by the fire. There we go. Oh, of course I bloody did. I stepped on a slightly steep slope for a second there, and Ashley's like, "No!" Just sprained her ankle. I sprained her wrist actually. I sprained my wrist. Oh, blimey. I spent the day exploring and looting, whilst I waited for the maple sapling that would become my bow to cure. Oh, I got it. Aww. Aww. Well, got it. Tell you what we will do. We'll light a fire here because it will save efficiency on our tools if we um, melt this deer a bit. Well, melt the ice, don't, melt the deer. I spent the rest of the day cooking up the deer and ptarmigan meat and had the last rest before I could make the bow. Day 12 went by in a flash. Most of it was spent making the bow and a couple of arrows before I moved on to the dam. I had a good sleep to make the next day's long journey across Pleasant Valley slightly more bearable. After spending some time at the Pleasant Valley farmstead cooking food and water, I headed to a crashed plane up on the other side of the valley in the search of clothes. If you cut back and I'm just being eaten by a wolf, don't worry. I'll survive. Quite encumbered. But yeah. We're not going to go check those houses over there. We can get stuff from them, but I normally find toolboxes behind those houses. Don't know why. We're going to head to the bunker, and then we're going to sleep, and then we're going to work out what we're actually going to drop there, because that'll be a nice focal point to leave stuff. I don't like just leaving stuff like by this plane, because there's not much reason. A short but slow trip up the hill took me to one of the few bunkers on Interloper, a perfect place to recover before climbing the nearby rope to the fateful Timberwolf Mountain. Resource of vitamin C is? I know the fish will give you vitamin C. A small climb took us to the plateau where Timberwolf Mountain stands. On the way to the hut at the base of the mountain, I stopped for a spot of rabbit hunting. Oh, 2 rabbits, perfect. Open to get close to animals, but sometimes they will just run up to you. I don't like when they're coming at me. Here we go. Wonder what I'll do with the rest of this day. Maybe there's some deer I can hunt around here. Get some food then in preparation for scaling the mountain. Oh, do I do the mountain first? See, it's nice to have, it would be good to have the extra backpack space so I can bring more stuff down from the mountain. But it also would be nice to potentially find some better clothes at the top of the mountain. Instead, I decided to take a third option. Try and hunt the bear that lives on the edge of this pond. Is fishing help you to your advantage? Yeah, I think I can be safe in here, right? If I die, I will blame you though. That missed? I think that missed. Yeah, it did. There's the arrow on the floor. Well, we got 2 into it, which is good. Just need to be careful about it running back onto us. Don't want to lose it though. I killed the demon verte. Oh, did you? I did wonder if you were streaming. I wasn't around when you probably were. Ah! Okay. I couldn't pull my bow. It must be so hurt. Oh, this was bad. Oh dear. Oh well, it's full health. It's all my fault. Maybe slightly. I bet it keels over right after it does this. Was this how it ended? My vision fading to black as I watched the bear walk away. If you enjoyed watching my story in the long dark on Interloper and want to see how it continues, please make sure to like the video, as this is the best way for me to tell if this is something people want to see more of. This video took an ashamedly long amount of time to edit and put together, but if you want to see more of my long dark adventures, and where we are in the same run at the moment, you'll find me streaming it on Twitch most days at 2 PM GMT. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day.